Today on the show, we have Annabel Asher. Thanks for being here. You're a musician that I just played on a bill with. I was playing with Keep Your Knots. We played Bowery Electric, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
a sick show. That was a super fun show.
I'm
Uh,
nodding because it was.
yeah, you guys killed it.
Oh,
I,
thank you. So did you guys.
oh, thank you so much. That was my first show in New York, and I'm hooked. I need to get more back out there and do some more shows for
Hell
sure.
yeah. Dude, you guys really like rocked my shit. Like I seriously I have not stopped thinking about that performance because it was just so next level. It was so amazing.
Well, thank you
And
very much.
you really turned it. And I remember my partner turned to me and was like, "Look at the drummer." Cuz you're doing your little like I
Yeah,
love it.
that's my thing. Whenever people get pictures of me, my hands are always in the air. Like I don't ever got
It's
like a
like,
picture
does this
down
guy
here.
ever actually like hit the drums? Because according to the pictures, he's just
I was not expecting to play like that either. Like I when I was practicing at home, I was just playing on my little like electronic pads and I was just like really
right.
taking it slow. We only had one rehearsal before that and it was like I barely knew the songs, but by the time it came to it, I was just like, no, I'm just gonna rock the fuck out. I don't
Hell yeah.
This is what I like to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like any opportunity to get to do the thing that we do is like such a blessing that, yeah, we also had one rehearsal. We were supposed to have two, but then like scheduling got messy and I was really nervous about how the show was going to go. But then I think it went really well. And also, it was really funny. My friend Nat, who is my bassist slash guitarist, they like rotate. She was supposed to be on a flight to LA. And then my drummer calls me and he's like, "Hey, okay, so I am gonna be missing sound check, but I have Nat next to me if you want her to play." Um, and I was like, "Of course, like what?" And she's just such a virtuoso, like knew everything like so quickly. Like we didn't even have a rehearsal with her, and it was just like, yeah. So shout out to my band, Nat, Jack, Clay, David. You guys really killed it. And thank you for your kind words. And yeah, like I said, I was so blown away by you guys, by your whole stage presence of the band. But like Kate's music is just like crazy. It's so insane. Like she has it all together.
She really does. She's really incredible. But I mean, your whole band was super super tight. I
Thank you.
think that's very kind words all around. That was just an electric night at
It really
Bowery
was. It
Electric.
was an electric night.
Yeah, I mean for a Sunday, great turnout too. Great turnout.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
How would you describe like your music in general? Because I hadn't really heard you other than 555, your single, which
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about how because you kind of have like a jazz thing going on, you kind of have electric thing going on. Like what are your influences? What inspires you?
Yeah. Great question. And one I was expecting, except one I will never be prepared for. I feel like every artist like freaks out when someone asks, like, so what style do you do? Unless they're like hard prog rock. Like it's always like either something ridiculously specific or it's just a mishmash of a million things. And I'm the latter. I feel like I take inspiration from mainly synth and electropop and garage, jazz, R&B, classic soul, but also like trance music and like just electronic music, like computer music, PC music, the computer as an instrument, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
555 is definitely more of a garage inspired track. We were definitely like looking at, Russian garage house bands like Molkat Doma and then like I Dress, just sort of like lo-fi, but
Wait, what did you just call that? Russian what?
Russian garage, I guess.
Okay, fuck yeah.
I feel like the Russian wave is coming, like it really is. Like I don't know if you heard Rush by Troye Sivan, but
I was gonna say Putin agrees.
it feels very you know. But
Yeah, no, that's
anyways,
awesome.
yeah, and then yeah, I feel like in terms of like actual artists, like my
Yeah.
biggest influences are they're all over the place, but like a few highlights would be like LCD Sound System, Jill Scott, Tori Moi, um, Rihanna, Aaliyah, Mac Miller, Nine Inch Nails, Charlie, Kendrick, Gaga, you know, the all the classics.
Yeah,
Justin
I mean,
Timberlake.
that was an extremely wide.
I know, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm just looking through my playlist of artists and songs that I think like parlay into my sound, and I'm like, yeah, it's so all over the place.
Do you have
And
a playlist? Do you have a Spotify playlist of that shit?
it's called Album-esque, and I'll send it to you guys. But
All right, hell yeah, I'm very
yeah, and
about
then
that.
yeah, there's some Pixies on here, some MGMT, some Azalea Banks, some um My Body is a Cage, Arcade Fire. You know, I like the drama. I like dark. I love dark pop and like the sort of that's why I like am obsessed with Kate, is because I feel like she really does a great job of creating that world. And so basically like my style is whatever the fuck I feel like making, and then below that it's probably just like alternative,
Yeah,
like lo-fi alternative. Let's just say
yeah.
that.
How did you? Okay, I have so many questions now. I guess first is how did you and Kate meet or just get acquainted? I don't even know. Kate doesn't even know that we're doing this interview.
I know. We're just gassing her and like she has no idea. It's so
We're
funny.
making friends behind her back. I'm not. I'm just not gonna.
We're talking mad shit about Kate.
Mm.
Ugh. Um no, we literally met through that bill, and I like
Oh,
I'll be totally honest, sometimes the gig finesse bills are not 100% awesome front to back. You know, love to my indie musicians, but sometimes it's just like it doesn't mesh, or there's just not a chemistry between the artists. But this one we really mesh, like all of us, we really, me, Noah, Lizzie, and Kate, like we all had a group chat beforehand and just like got to know each other a bit. And so I was just kind of like stalking Kate's social media and Spotify and stuff, and I was just like, holy shit, like wow, this is very inspired and inspiring. um and yeah, kind of lit a fire under my ass, honestly. I was like, fuck, like I can and should be really doing this, you know what I mean?
yeah. Did
Full
you?
send.
Because you released 555 right before that show, right?
I released it June 9th, so a little like exactly a month before, actually.
Oh, that was close.
Very
Um,
close.
what I mean, what was the timing for that? Like, yeah, I mean, so how did this even come about? Because you know how to sing. Like, where did you learn how to sing? Like, what's your whole music background? Where are you from? You're in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm in LA right now. I'm at my
Is that where
parents'
you're from?
house. Yes, I'm from LA. I'm a Valley girl. I'm from
Nice.
Woodland Hills. If you're at all familiar,
Oh yeah,
it's like, yeah, it's right next to Calabasas. So I grew up, you know, in Kardashian County. Um, but you know, adjacent, definitely not like in the thick of it. I just like went to school out there. I have a lot of friends out there, etc. So, you know, I did a lot of musical theater growing up, did a lot of, you know, I did vocal lessons from like when I was like 8. Just because my parents were super supportive and they saw that I had a passion and a talent and they wanted to nurture that. So I'm forever appreciative for that foundation. Um, I self-taught myself guitar when I was like 12. And I've always been like proficient at guitar. It's not my main instrument, but I love playing guitar. I've definitely been um working at it and trying to get better, because it is as a solo act, like oftentimes it's just me and my guitar. um so yeah, and then yeah, musical theater was my biggest sort of training in terms of how to sing and how to perform. And that's where I learned like vocal support and how to harmonize and like how to convey emotion through a song. And I really carry that with me in my music, even though I'm not doing musical theater, obviously. It's just the like being able to command a stage and tell a story through a song definitely came from my musical theater studies. And then I also did dance, and I just have always been, I feel like I really started to become like a music head in middle school. Like that's when I started to be like pretentious about it. I was like, you guys have never heard of Frank Ocean? Wow. It was like I was that kid. But yeah, I think a mix of that and then just like singing to the radio every day of my life forever, like being in the car, and especially in the era of pop music that I grew up in, it was very vocal heavy. Like I'm thinking of like Chandelier and like all of Lady Gaga's discography and like Halo and just these really vocally demanding songs that I wanted to sing along to the much to the chagrin of everybody else in the car. But yeah, it was definitely like the radio definitely raised me, and I think that has a huge impact on my sound today, both like the serious elements of it but also like the unserious like kitsch elements of it.
Yeah, you talked about at the show that you would like listen to the radio for hours and hours, and you played "Are You Gonna Be My Girl" by
Hell yeah, I did.
so I guess you mentioned some of those other songs, but so you said your parents were super supportive, I guess, and your mom was at the show.
Yeah, that was amazing. She flew out from LA just for the show. What a queen.
Wow, yeah, and I'm sure she had a great time. That
Yeah,
was
she did.
that was super cool. So when was like your first time actually like playing live or playing, or I guess being in sort of a setting of, I mean, I guess you did theater, but what about just like more of just like a music setting?
Yeah, just like my solo stuff. So in college, I went to Wesleyan. I did a cappella.
Where is
It's
that?
it's in Middletown, Connecticut. It's a liberal arts school. It's like it's very you know, artsy but also intellectual. So like I felt like I was very well suited. It was touch and go because it was like the pandemic hit like right in the middle. So but I digress. I didn't have as much performing experience in college as I obviously wanted to because half of it was online. But when I was there, I did a cappella. Um, my group was called Quasimodal, and just like group singing really resonated with me. And then just I think it took a little while for me to build up the confidence to be like, I can be this, I can do this, and I can do it on my own. And so my first performance as me, as Annabel Asher as a solo act was at Wesleyan. It was really like chaotic. It's because it's such a, because everybody there is so neurotic and involved. There's always shit going on, like at every hour, every day. Like there's always at least three things that you need to be at, and you can't be at all of them. So I had a show on a Sunday at like 5:30 in Music House, which is like way off campus. And some of my friends came, but it was not a very well attended show. And it wasn't like the kind of show that I envisioned myself doing at all because with my style of music, I envision, like a dark, dank room and like just that sense of like intimacy. But I think that first show really like made it obvious that you can't control the circumstances when you're performing, and you just kind of have to like do your thing, and whatever the audience does is their business. And I feel like audience engagement is a big part of my act because I also did improv, so I'm like pretty well versed in audience interaction. And it doesn't like I have to do a lot of self-talk when I have an audience. Like that day I had to do a lot of self-talk, like this doesn't reflect on me as an artist or a person, and the people who are here are really here, and that's what matters.
Wait, whoa. What do you mean by that part?
Like there were maybe 15 people there, but all of them were really present and like watching me and were like giving me energy. And
Ah,
that was really nice to have, even though it wasn't necessarily like a full packed room. I was like, oh, you guys are being nice to me. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I can do this even if there's nobody at my gig.
Yeah. There was well, I guess if you're talking about specifically, there's more people than that at the Bowery Electric gig,
Oh
but
yeah, way more people. I just mean like that was my very first show,
got
and
it.
that and then like after the fact, most of my shows have been pretty well
So,
populated.
okay, funny story about this is so I've been playing drums forever, and I've been in band since I was like 12. Uh, and Kate has and she asked me questions because I've just played more shows than her, and she's like, "Oh, what if there's not that many people there?" It's like I've played so many shows where I was like, there was more people in the band than there were in the room,
Right.
and then you just like can't you just and she's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, yeah, nobody does, but it's also like kind of fun, and it's almost like a rite of passage to say you've done these like
hmm
shitty ass like gigs.
Right.
Uh,
And then for the people who are at those gigs, down the line, it's a badge of honor for them to be like, yeah, I saw this person, like, and there were four people there and they still turned it. And that's
exactly,
that's a sign of a true performer, like someone who, you know, can keep it pushing despite if the audience is not giving you what you want.
exactly, yeah, and like I did a tour with a band. They're called Hot Crazy. They were just starting up, but I knew they were going to be big, and they went on tour with my band, and we just like there was barely anybody at these shows, but they could have been playing a stadium like with just their energy. They didn't give a
Right.
fuck who was out there. Like they were out there to have fun themselves, and that was like a big turning point for me. I was like, every time I get to play drums, it's like a die tomorrow. I might as well just do it. You know,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's such a privilege to like be able to do it and to be doing it on the level where like people will pay to see it.
yeah,
It's not just like a hobby thing, you know. But but yeah, that's sort of my show background, my
yeah.
history on the stage.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, you're 20. So you're same age as Kate.
Yes.
Michael and I here, we're getting old. We're almost freaking 30. Hey,
Whoa.
yeah. Well, anyway,
Grab the walkers.
grab the walkers. Yeah, bust it out. This is not a walking friendly city.
No, it is
Uh,
not.
yeah. But where the fuck was I going with that?
I'm 23.
What's your plan? Like, what do you want to do? Like, I mean, so you're just starting to release music as your own name.
Yeah.
What's what's
What's
the
the
plan?
what's the plan?
Yeah.
World domination,
All right,
total
dope.
indoctrination. Ultimately, I would love to be a world dictator. No, I'm kidding.
On that.
Can you expound on that? No, actually, I just want to reach the people who I need to reach, but that's a very, abstract, broad goal. But in terms of like next steps, I would love. So I have another song coming out August 18th called "The Line."
Oh,
Yeah. So first announcement is on this podcast. Congrats. But yeah, so I have another single coming out, and then I'm working on my EP right now, which I would love to tour. So that's sort of the next POA for me, is like recording the songs that I already have and like getting them, getting them tight and ready for streaming, and then hopefully building up enough of an audience that I can do a small tour, and that would be amazing. But in the long term, I would love to be doing all kinds of stuff. Like I am definitely an interdisciplinary artist. I'm a writer and a singer, obviously, but I would love to be acting and doing fashion and, just being part of like the creative culture. And also just the pop culture, because I love pop culture. It's like so delicious for me. Always have. And so being part of the conversation would be amazing. And like, I just would love to have I would love to just be able to make a living doing this. Like ultimately that is my like base goal. But if we're shooting for the moon, like I would love to play the Hollywood Bowl one day, you know?
yeah. That was unabashedly. That was I love when people are honest.
Yeah.
That's great. You're like, yeah, I love pop culture. I just want to be part of the conversation. That's
Like, duh, who doesn't? Like, I
a lot
literally,
of people.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, I guess when I think of like who does it, I'm like, what lead singer doesn't want to be like showered with attention?
That's true. That's true. I don't. Yeah, there's very few singers I've like met that are not kind of ego heads, which that's like my favorite thing. I love that like the drummer singer dynamic is always like a fun
It's
one.
it's hilarious because the drummers have no ego. Like y'all had ego death from an acid trip 4 years ago, and it's like and we're just rocking and like we're like so in our heads about like, you know, what everything means and whatever. It's
I
just
think that's generally why drummers and singers tend to like hang out most in the band, or at least when I've like just seen people on tour or whatever like that. It's like the total opposites. Like I get you, you get me, and like we're nothing alike though.
right. But like
Uh,
we're so entertained by the others thing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we can protect each other from the emotions we don't want to like experience and shit.
Right, right.
Yeah, but in general though, like, but there are all like exceptions to that rule. There's some
Of
singers that just
course, of course.
fucking hate singing live, but they're so fucking good. People are like, yeah, do it though. I want you to do
Yeah.
it.
Like
Did you?
Frank Ocean, for example. I mean, that whole Coachella thing was so whack, but I saw him live in 2017 at FYF in LA, and it was literally his last live performance since that Coachella thing. So I saw in real time like someone who is such a star and who is so relevant, but who hates being in the public eye and like literally actively avoids playing shows. And I'm like, music really comes in all shapes and sizes. And just because you sing doesn't mean you want to be the center of attention, or just because you don't sing doesn't mean you don't want to be the center of attention. You know, I feel
Yeah,
like I don't know. I think about band members who just always play for other artists, and I'm like, I wonder if that is enough, or if there is sort of like an urge to do your own thing. But I don't know. I guess that's a question for you. Now it's my podcast.
yeah. I mean, I think I'm a pretty show-offy drummer. I just can't help it. I do like it's fun.
You gotta.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know, you can be such a boring drummer, and I don't know,
Yeah.
like playing in the pocket's like great and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know, if you're gonna come to a show, I want to give people a reason to actually like come to a show.
Right.
What was your whole like thought on Frank Ocean's thing? Because what happened at Coachella? He like didn't play a full set, or he was just over it, or what was the whole?
He basically first of all, he had this huge set that he was supposed to not like set as in music set, but like a physical set. There was an ice rink, and there were going to be ice skaters that were like looping around him as he sang, and then like an hour before the show he's like, actually I don't want that. And so they had to like completely reorganize the stage setup, and then it just ended up being him. Like you couldn't even see him. There was literally a group of people like walking around him in a circle the entire show. You couldn't see his face, you could barely hear him. He wasn't singing, he was just like playing tracks basically. And people, people who had waited for years and years and years to see him perform were all devastated, because they were like, what? Like, that's it? And then he cut the show early, and I think he went past curfew, and like started late as well. So just like a pretty disrespectful to the
Yeah,
fans, like especially because it was Coachella and that shit is so expensive. Like so many people probably like minimum spent $1,000 just to be there, and it just shows a level of detachment from that, being in that place as an artist, where like you understand what it's like to, you know, to be on either side. Like you want to see a great show, but you also want to give a great show, because you should feel entitled, like your fans are entitled to that, and you should feel like you owe them that.
yeah. That's it's a rough spot to be in, because I don't know what you do for work, but like I end up work in service industry stuff when I'm not doing music stuff.
Right.
And you're just like, some days you just don't want to fucking deal with people.
Yeah,
But it would,
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, so Michael just saw Lil Nas X at what, Governor's Ball? Was that right?
Oh, yo.
Yes.
And
He
he
was
came
not
out.
having a great day.
Oh, really?
He came
What
out
was
on
his
a
deal?
horse.
Like a real horse?
Yeah.
And was like, I'm sorry guys, I don't want to be here right now. And then absolutely crushed it. But it was so like, um yeah, sometimes like people just have like a bad day and it shows.
Yeah, yeah. It honestly like could have been that deep. It could have been not that deep. It could have just been like, I have a stomach ache. Or it could have been, I also know that Frank had a little brother who passed away, and he mentioned something like, I used to go to Coachella with my little brother, and so this is like really meaningful for me. So I'm sure that was a factor, but ultimately like I'm not in the business to like pathologize
No.
artist behavior, because artists are insane, historically unpredictable and hard to hard to read, and also like kind of think they're exempt from the rules of basic ethics and morals and human decency. So like but then on the other hand, like that's kind of fun, like how depraved everyone is. Makes for good stories and good music.
Exactly. And I think, yeah, that's the whole point. And it's such a hard hump to get over, to actually get to the point where you're playing shows and people actually expect stuff of you and you're making enough money to like get to do these things.
Exactly.
I think that's what people always like feel, this weird thing. It's like, yeah, I would love to have that problem where I like wake up all hungover in Europe and I'm like, oh, I gotta go play a show
Yeah, it's like, oh,
tonight.
I have to play Primavera Sound right now, like after being on a yacht all day.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm tired. Like
yeah,
it's just such an unrealistic thing.
I
But
know.
but in order to actually be that successful as a musician, you have to work your ass off all the time.
Literally, like, and that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I don't really need to be like yachting in Capri, as Beyonce would say, but like I would love to be able to like finance my basic needs with music, and I know that that's not going to come through streaming. And so like finding other avenues to make money while still being involved in music, or like vocal production in some way. So like right now I'm trying to get into more freelance stuff, doing, like music content. Like
That's what Kate does. You gotta talk to her about that.
yeah,
She does a lot
definitely.
of like rating stuff, and she didn't go to school for that either.
Yeah,
It's weird stuff like that.
exactly. I want to be doing those weird like odd articles, and like, making royalty free music for like a TikTok commercial or something like that. I think at this point in my life is like, I'm not above that at all. And I think for a while, I don't know. I think when I was in college, I was so isolated and didn't have to actually like encounter the real world, that I just had a really idealized vision of like my come up or whatever. And I don't think it's like that for anyone.
Yeah.
Like there, even my friends who are signed and successful, and by all means should be like over the moon, have to work literally all the time, because they're under the jurisdiction of other people now. And um so I don't know. I always remember, like, this is, you're doing this because it brings you the most joy. Like, this is what you're doing with your life because it brings you the most joy. So like, don't let that joy be sucked away from it, um just through like the frustration of wanting to make something good or something people will listen to, or just making it, doing it in a pure commercial sense can really be soul sucking. So just like, I don't know. I feel like I need to remain. I don't know. I need to not be as jaded, and I just by the way I do that is just listening to new music and old music, um, and going to shows and feeling like hopeful. Like, okay,
Do you feel like you're just getting started, like with kind of stuff you're doing? Like, when did you start releasing music? And we should start talking about 555 because
Oh yeah.
there's
We
a
can
lot
we
to it.
There's a lot to do. Yeah, I'm a chatty Cathy.
I
Sorry.
feel like I could talk to you for quite a while.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
same.
we should all hang out. I feel like we should get that whole fucking group, that
Let's
whole
do
show
it.
group together at some point and like
Let's
have
go bowling.
yeah, I'm going bowling right after this actually.
No
I'm
way.
having a fucking great day. I went to the beach. It's
Yo.
the nicest day we've had in New York. I get to hang out with you and Michael, and I'm going bowling, seeing a show tonight.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I'm
Living
seeing
my
Barbie
best.
tonight. I'm going to a midnight show of Barbie tonight. So I'm also very excited.
That's tomorrow. I mean, that's like, oh my God, we're upon the open Barbie. What do they
It's
call it?
Barbenheimer
Barbenheimer.
time.
Barbenheimer. Yeah.
Maybe.
It's Barbenheimer time, and I'm seeing Oppenheimer on Saturday. So, and then I'm going to uh a show on whatever. Okay, off topic. 555. So 555 is my debut single. That is my first song I've ever dropped, and we recorded it about a year ago to the date that it was dropped. So it was it took a long time because my friends and collaborators are amazing and incredibly talented, which means they are very busy all the time. So, like, in the interest of wanting to keep it in the family, I was like, okay, I would rather just have this be the best that I can make it and drop it on my own time than just like rush it. And that's what I did, and I'm glad that I did because it really is like exactly how I wanted it to be. I mean, now I can't listen to it because it makes me crazy, but like when I could still listen to it, I was like, this is amazing.
Banger.
Yeah, thank you.
Fun.
Charlie Kilgore is the producer, and he's in the band Michelle, if you know them. They're like a neo R&B soul / pop group from New York, and they're quite a they're playing Lala, which is pretty fucking sick.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they're definitely on the up and up. And then my friend Finn Bennett mixed it, and he totally brought the song to the next level. It just really like he really should have a producer credit because it totally morphed the song, his mix. Just because he put it through a bunch of old tape machines and like really saturated the vocal and like made it sound the way it's supposed to sound.
That's the thing about it. It's like it's like kind of it's like electro pop kind of indie vibe too, but your vocals, and I think this is probably one of my favorite things about your show, is that it's like this like deep brooding like jazz voice that you have.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
like the saturation and how everything sounds with it is like, yeah, no, it sounds great. The vocals are like perfect for it, and it's unique. There's nothing quite like it. So
Wow, that means so much to me. Thank you. Yeah, I try to use my instrument to the best of my ability, where I'm like, okay, I don't have, like a whispery Billie Eilish princess voice. I'm not going to make whispery music because that is not what my instrument is built for. And so like I, trying to figure out how to synthesize like the production style that I like, which is a little brutal. Like a little bit yeah. But then I have this like smooth sort of like smooth jazz voice that I can tap into, which I think is a fun little contrast.
you know what you should do for side work is you should just like just read audiobooks, like especially like
That's literally what I'm trying to do, bro.
let's fucking do it. Hey, we're setting up a studio here. We'll put you up. I've done audiobook recording. Yeah, we got it. We'll stuff to put you to sleep.
Exactly. That's kind of the hustle I'm trying to get into right now, is just like doing kind of voiceover like filler work.
Yeah, I'm just do it. Yeah, you got it.
Exactly.
I send my buddy Jake. I send him all the voiceover like voice acting gigs that I can. But yeah, there's a billion out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's out there. The truth is out there.
So yeah, the production. So what was like your idea with the song and how? So you had a producer, you had somebody mixing it, you had what at some point you were like, I want to release a song. I want to release this song.
Right.
Like what was the grand idea? Because like what's crazy is like, so I'm looking right now, you have 8,757 listens. You're kind of like, and this is like you just putting something out there. That's really good for like a first release.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy with that as well. Like for pretty much no professional promo, like I paid for like a couple Instagram ads, but like in general that's organic, and that's amazing to me that that people are finding this song somehow, and B, that they're listening to it multiple times. Like I have my, Spotify for artist analytics, and like the average listener listens to it at least twice. And that's crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
like you came back for more. That's insane. So I think so in terms of like deciding that this was the one that I wanted to drop as my debut single. So The Line, which is coming out um in about a month, was the other option. Um and they're very different. The Line is a lot more jazzy and a lot more um ethereal, I guess. Whereas 555 is quite oblique and intense. And I kind of just wanted to knock down the door. I was just like, I want to make an entrance, and I don't want it to go unnoticed. And it's really hard not to. It's a very commanding sort of song, like especially that like bass line and those drums. They're just so propulsive. And I was like, yeah, I really want this to be like it says like I'm here, hey. And I'm here, and I really just don't I DGAF. Um what I do GAF, which is the secret, but in terms of the like,
I
the
won't we
persona.
won't tell anybody. No.
Thank you, thank you. Just anyone who listens to this podcast will know, but
Yeah.
anyone else,
It'll just be your mom basically.
yeah, exactly.
We can
Um,
bleep it out if you want. Like, there's always options.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Uh,
so you recorded this song like what you said a year ago, right? So what was
yeah.
but you had I mean, yeah, you said it's organic how people found the song, but in general, what was like your if you had to like kind of look back and be like, this is all the promotion I did leading up to the release. What do you think went well? What do you think didn't? What did you do to actually get to that point where you actually had some people listening to it? I mean, like the song, you worked really hard on the song, and it shows, and people are re-listening to it, so clearly it sounds good. But what was your marketing, if anything?
Marketing tactic.
Yeah.
So, another mask off moment. I hate doing social media promo. Makes me feel like a zebra at the circus doing ball tricks, and I'm like, this is not my nature. I'm not the kind of person to post a video on TikTok every day. Like, it just doesn't come naturally to me. So I really had to get over that like feeling of, oh, it's so annoying. Everybody thinks it's annoying. And just be like, whatever. It's everybody knows it's what you have to do. So you just do it. Because the goal, right, is to like have the algorithm catch you and hopefully put you on someone's radar that hasn't seen you before. That's my current like goal. And so for promo, I knew I needed visuals, and I knew I needed a video. And so my friend Meghan Marshall, shout out, she is one of the best artist photographers in New York. She's amazing. We did a photo shoot, which I ended up using one of those pictures on the cover, and then I used those pictures as like initial promo. And then I was like, this isn't super informative. Like, I think that I could have probably done some more teasers, like video teasers, and that might have played better. But I was just like, I didn't really have it yet, and I just didn't. I don't know. I was just like, okay, just fucking post something. Like, don't wait around.
Yeah.
And then my friend Iris Olympia, filmed me running around their roof and like that ended up being, the music video and the visuals. And then my friend Liza Gross edited it, and did an amazing job. And so ever since I've had that footage, it's been a lot easier to promote, because it just seems like short video content is the most engaging to people nowadays. So like I said, it's hard for me to feel like I'm doing that earnestly, and so I really try to not use like a fake social media voice. I
Yeah.
I try to like be myself, and like I hate just it's I think it's just inherently humiliating to be like advertising yourself on social media in general. It doesn't matter if you're a musician or just a person.
Yeah.
So once I accepted that, I was like, whatever. You know what? I I'm at a point now where I'm willing to debase and humiliate myself for the sake of my music. But I don't think I'm need to do it. I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of artists think they have to be like in the car with their ex and they're like, so remember how I told you I was never going to write a song about you? Well, I did, and here it is. And it's like, is this what it is now? Like, do we really have to be doing all this? Like, yeah, so there was always that side of me that, like, the side of me that felt like I was at the circus. But and then in terms of like, I really was just TikTok and Instagram. Like, I didn't have any other avenues to use. Like, can't take out a billboard or a radio ad or a wheat pasting. I'm just like,
There's no
it's not,
reason to.
there's no reason to. It's like so extra. And
What is like what is something that you do differently maybe for TikTok or Instagram, like you personally, or do you just post just the same stuff on both?
um I TikTok's a little more like unserious, I would say. With TikTok, I'll record a video of myself in like 3 times speed, like listen to my song, like just being dumb. And then on Instagram, I feel like it's a little more professional, a little more editorial, a little more like highbrow. Not to say it is always that, but I just feel like comedy plays better on TikTok than on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so finding a way for people to see that I don't take myself that seriously, but I also, like, I'm still trying to get myself out there, like trying to strike that balance, I think is what the biggest difference. And also Instagram is, it's a thirst trap. Like, let's be so real. Like I definitely have to look and act a certain way, present a certain aesthetic, um in order,
Interesting.
yeah, like I feel like maybe it's just misogyny, or maybe it's just being like a singer, but your look, I think, is important, and your visuals, whatever. Like, your look and visuals are what sets you apart, because there's a lot of amazing singers out there. It's like there's so many, but not all of them have the eye-catching visuals or the sense of style or the direction, like the creative artistic direction, aesthetic direction, to make it really stand out. And for me, that's something I've been thinking about ever since I decided that I wanted to pursue this, because I'm somebody who's really invested in, aesthetics, and it's just like some of the best albums ever have such iconic art that also like bleeds into the aesthetic of the band. And like I don't know, I'm thinking of like Radiohead and Nirvana right now, like how, like, I don't know, they match their vibe with their visuals. And like, for me, I'm somewhere between like an evil succubus and like, I know the way I would describe my persona is like if a lounge singer and like a brat punk like had a baby. Um and so like I use a lot of like red and purple, and um just like I try to keep things minimalistic but striking.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. It's definitely like when I think of you, it's like this like a just a lounge singer, but also with just this like airy, ethereal, like fast, energetic electronic thing going on as well at the same time.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
that's
that.
pretty, yeah, no, it's incredible. I was really digging your guys' set. So
Oh,
but,
that
yeah, the site that what I love how you're thinking about it too. It's like it's really good for other people to like hear and listen to other people and how they develop themselves and
yeah,
want to put online.
yeah, I think that's honestly like I don't know, there's so many bands in New York too. Like I think something that my Michelle has done really well is figure out their aesthetic and not like their stage aesthetic and what sets them apart. And um so I took a page out of their book for sure. And I was just like, okay, commit to something simple that you can build on.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no reason why you have to like settle down with anything on it too. It's just like just do shit that you like.
Right, exactly. Do
Yeah.
shit that you like at the end of the day, like do shit that you like.
And
Uh
Michael and I are fucking terrible with social media. We get some amazing people on the show. We have awesome episodes with people. And we have a bunch of like clipped up episodes of every single like show that we've done. I just don't like posting them. It feels
it's
weird.
horrible. It feels
I just
weird.
it feels like it's like I have very intimate conversations with people, but like I'm like, I don't want like, yeah, listen to it if you want, but I don't want to put that like online. Like I
Yeah, there's
don't want
something
to like
about
chop it up.
right. There's something about diluting it and forcing it upon other people that just feels like it kind of bastardizes it. But also like if it's getting people to listen to the full thing, then like whatever.
Every single time we post something like that, we get a bunch more downloads for stuff, and we're like, well, that makes sense.
Fuck. That helped. God damn it.
Yeah. Okay. So we just a little more. Do you have a few more minutes?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Cool. Well, so part of what we do for this show is we have to Instagram stalk everybody that we talk to. But
Yeah.
I thought this was hilarious. This is right at the top of your Instagram. This guy commented,
Oh, I know exactly what you're gonna say. No, read it.
and I was on the train coming back from the beach. I was like, oh shit.
Can you read it for the people at home?
Yes. So it was on the video for 555. And okay, so this guy, not a fan here, just gave 555 a listen, and I really don't like profanity. I don't understand why some songwriters feel the need to use vulgar, disrespectful, offensive language in a song, all creative words, blah, 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 blah. Classless music, in my opinion. So many good and great songwriters over the years have never used profanity. Sorry, I'm just not going to follow you and support your music.
I was like, okay, bro, I don't give a fuck. Like, why are you taking the time out of your life to fucking write this long ass comment? First of all, I literally say 2 curse words in the whole song. So you're you can't you're scared of bad words? Okay.
I
Like
thought I was cracking up.
it
I
was
thought
so
it was
funny.
so funny. Like, well, then I was looking into the guy. He's like a grandfather. I'm like, how did he find you? He must have been like through an ad or something like
Or
that.
like through a hashtag or
Yeah,
something, like looking through hashtag music and like I just popped up.
and he just has like him with his shirt off, like
I
all with
know.
his family, just enjoying it. Whatever. He's just
I know. He's like, oh, look at my wholesome family, and he's like out here terrorizing like actual randos on the internet. Like,
I love that he's like sitting at like Olive Garden with his family. He's like, and they're like, "Hey," and he's like, "Hold on," like,
yeah, he's like, wait. Like, I understand you have something important to tell me. His
yeah.
wife is like, I want a divorce, and he's like actively writing
He's like,
this
there's this 23-year-old girl out there, and she needs to know that
that I'm not a fan. That I
I'm
will
not a
not be
fan.
streaming. I'm like, okay, like. Also, when I first saw the like long comment and the first part said not a fan here, I was like, oh no, like they're gonna critique the like the song. And then it was just that. And I was like, oh, okay.
So then,
Uh,
what's that, Michael?
I'm gonna just put out there that if anybody wants to send this guy um songs that have profanity in it, just see if he's a fan or not. For every confirmed, message that you send him with a song link of a song that has profanity, we'll send you a Zen Perry Project sticker.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm
let's
kind of into that.
go.
Like, what do you think of this song? Sorry,
I
Yeah,
don't know. Maybe he just needs to hear more songs with profanity in it. Like maybe
maybe
we
he
can get
just
him to come around.
needs to hear like pussy, pussy, pussy marijuana, and like he'll come to and he'll realize
yeah,
like,
maybe.
oh, I'm a down ass kind of dude.
I feel like this is
Um,
like one of those like closeted ass like fucking
yeah.
guys. It's just like, oh, like I find, yeah, like the kind of person that listens to WAP and is like, I secretly like, oh my god, those girls are amazing, but like I need to
Yeah,
shit on it, like you know what I mean, like
right. It's also
uh
just like the misogyny element where it's like he said something about like this is setting a bad example for young girls, and I'm like, I'm not trying to set an example for young girls. The fuck, like I'm literally not.
that's what we're here for. Is like we're
You're setting
that's not
examples
going
for
on.
young girls. The
Yeah,
Zen Perry Project is setting examples for young girls. Annabel Asher is not.
yeah.
I'm, why is it my responsibility to set an example for young girls? Like me? Like no, I it's so dumb. Like obviously I'm not making music for children. Like
Yeah, and the guy goes on like he
he
just
he
keeps
he
going. He
he's
just keeps going.
so, and I'm like, thank you for the engagement. The Instagram algorithm is probably like doesn't
I
know
love
what's
it.
happening, and they're like, yeah.
I
Um
so I got called a racist on one of my things, which okay, that sounds bad. Just
no, I no
hold
no
with
no
me, it's
no.
not bad.
I'm with you.
Uh,
I'm
And we're getting canceled.
yeah, I was like, oh shit. So it was on like a reel I did on YouTube with the podcast, but all I was talking about was that gentrification exists. And it was this guy in front of his Chevy. He was a white dude. He was calling me racist against white people. I was like, oh, you're just an idiot.
oh, got it.
Like, yeah, I was like, as soon as I saw the comment before I saw who it was or like what the context was, I was like, oh fuck, am I a terrible person? Like, am I just getting called out now? But like but also that reel jumped up, like just the
Yeah.
amount of like plays it had just because somebody called me racist on it, which had for no fucking reason.
Which had nothing to do with anything.
Had nothing to do with anything. I was like, gentrification exists and it sucks. And that was like kind of my thing. And yeah, like I just did
So
not.
real.
Uh,
Yeah, well, he had a point. It sounds like you're being really racist against white people right now.
yeah,
So
right. Yeah, man, we have a rough out here. Fuck.
yeah.
Uh, but okay, so to this guy's point, I had not listened to not the racist guy. I'm segueing
You
back.
we're talking about the classless music guy.
Yes. I did look at the lyrics, and your lyrics they are. Wait, what's wrong? I was talking to Michael. Oh, this is my favorite line: "Rock bottom of the body pile, shoot hot spit, crunch bone." Is that
Yeah,
that
that's
that is a sick line. I love.
yeah. Thank you, Charlie. I will give Charlie credit for that one because he definitely like had the idea for that verse. Well, like basically the idea behind the song was we wanted the verses to be really dense and manic and like weird and odd, and for the chorus to be a little more spread. And so that's why there's a lot going on in the verses, and then the chorus is like 3 words. But yeah, no, like Charlie's an incredible writer. We wrote this song together, but I like he was like, I figured it out. Rock bottom of the body pile. Shoot hot spit, crunch bone. And I was like, you're so fucking weird for that, and I love it. Like I'm obsessed. Like
It
this
doesn't
is
rhyme. It doesn't make sense. It's like kind of visual, but it also just like you're just like, ow, that like
it's just
hurt and
like
it feels so
yeah,
good.
it's like it really puts you exactly where I wanted someone to be. Is like laying on the tile under a bunch of bodies, just like being crushed, and like how, you know, like you go from the mania to the crash. Like that
Yeah.
was kind of, yeah.
What is the story behind this song? Because that is not what the song is about.
Yeah.
Are you how much do you feel like saying about it?
Yeah, I'll say some. So the song is actually about, I had a psychotic break my freshman year of college, and I really, really didn't know that at the time, because anyone who's ever been manic or psychotic knows it's like really hard to know that you think everyone else is wrong and you're right, basically. And so I going with that sort of idea, and just thinking that you are being directly given signs from the universe that like this person is meant for you. And that was what was happening with me like freshman year of college. Basically, like this random guy who absolutely did not deserve my time or attention. Like I had just gotten out of a long relationship and he was there, but incredibly um a bad influence. Let's just say that he was a bad influence. And because of a lot of factors, I ended up like really, really, really falling hard for this guy. But it was like comorbid with an intense case of mania where I was like, I associated all of these like super happy new energy feelings with him, instead of like, oh, I should seek medical help. And so like that song is sort of from the perspective of me when I was in that space of like, I'm so sure about this. I'm so positive that the universe is sending me signs. But he had a girlfriend like who was still in high school and across the country, and
Oof.
yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And he just like wasn't attracted to me. It was really like, ugh, like it hurt so bad. But ultimately, I'm so glad nothing ever happened, because, woo, he's a piece of work. But if he ever listens to this, he's not gonna be happy. But it's fine. We don't talk to each other anymore, so I doubt he'll ever even see it. But yeah, I think this song was very cathartic for me, because I had a lot of pent up rage towards him and a lot of energy. Like this time in my life had so much energy, but it was also so toxic and corrosive. And so I just like wanted to figure out how to wrap all of that up together. And so yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, it's a very, like, as I read the lyrics, I was like, this is very intense. I love
Yeah,
it.
it is an intense song. It's like
I can't wait to go to your first play,
I can't wait to make my Broadway debut after becoming an international pop sensation, and everyone's like, they can act, and I'm like, yeah, bitch. I'm aware of many hats.
Yeah, there you go.
But also like at the end of the day, I just am happy with like doing art on any level at any time. But yeah.
Yeah,
Trying to think of anything.
it's an incredible song. I think extremely well produced. Like, the video is awesome. So just like, keep doing that. I got
Will do.
I got two more questions.
Yeah, hit me.
Two. Which one do I want to ask first? We'll do this one. What do you do when you're starting to second guess yourself or feel like there's no reason to keep on making music? Or if that has never occurred to you, what do you do when you have some old guy, start hating on your music, on the internet? What are the sort of like mechanisms that you've developed, about your ego?
So many, because that this is a daily struggle. And then like all musicians I think have that, like, do I even bother? But then I do a few things. I will like just start playing covers. I'll just play songs that I know and love and I know that I can do well. And then I feel how good it feels to do that and how like natural that feels. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that connects me to the why. And then also, like when my friends or people I don't know reach out at all about it. Like even the fact that they like gave it a listen, I'm like, okay, that's something that really helps. But I also like to go through my notes app and my voice memos because it's literally a wasteland of ideas and melodies and songs and you know lyrics that are just lying dormant. And I'm like, okay, I literally have a full fucking archive. Obviously, I do this consciously or unconsciously. So I'm gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? Um, and sometimes I'll listen to an old voice memo or read an old note, and I'll be like, damn, okay, shit, like, wow, I didn't realize. I don't remember ever recording that or saying that, but it actually was quite good. So that really helps me when I'm feeling like, oh, like sometimes I'll even feel like jealous of my past self, like, oh, she was so inspired and like, had all this stuff to write about. And I'm like, I can always go back to those notes and go back to those times and, build on them. But yeah, those are some of my coping mechanisms.
Those are great. Yeah, I think playing covers is something that I've been kind of more into as I'm kind of just like refinding my stuff because I was only into originals for a while. But yeah, no, it's nice to hear somebody else say that as well as the other stuff you mentioned.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best answers we've had for that so far. This is a
Oh,
new end of show question that we've started asking.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I really do that. And like just playing things that are kind of easy, like just so you remind yourself like this is you know this is a fundamental part of me, and when something is simple you can really go crazy. um so yeah, definitely recommend. It also makes you feel better about like where you're at currently because you're like, oh, this song is so easy, and then it's like probably a song that I wouldn't have found easy a few years ago. So yeah, anyways,
Absolutely. All right, last question.
last question.
What is your idea of success?
My idea of success is being able to pay rent and have health insurance and have food and maybe then some. Just being able to make a living off of my art. Um, Once I can do that, I will feel free.
There you go. Love it.
And also like having like a million monthly listeners would be cool one day.
Hey, you're on your way. Yeah,
Yeah,
1,000 right now, We're about to have
yeah.
maybe 2,000 soon.
Oh, hey, come on. I hope so. Fingers crossed, inshallah.
Yeah. Freaking Kate's released like 50 something songs, which
That's
I
insane.
had no idea.
That is so wild. I mean, she's been doing this since because she moved to New York
2018.
when she was 18. So yeah, I feel like yeah, like I said earlier, I'm just getting started. There is
Yeah.
so much more to come.
Yeah, no, I feel like you have a good streamlined approach to everything that you're doing now is in my humble mean nothing words. I think you got it. Like just keep doing what you're doing. Is
Thank
there
you
anything
so
else you want to
much.
say to fans or anybody listening or
The line comes out August 18th. Thank you. If you've gotten this far, I love you. Thank you. DM me and tell me if you've got this far. But I'm just so appreciative of you guys for having me on the show. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Thank you so much for being on the show. This was super
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I had such a great time. Stream 555.
Do it.
Um show it,
YouTube,
yeah.
Spotify, Apple.
Follow me on Instagram at ANNABEL Asher. That's where I post all of my like show updates and all that shit. So if you want to stay in the loop, that's where you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be at your next show for sure. Whenever that is.
Ditto.
I think we got some stuff in September, which we might have to hit you up.
Yeah, I'm
For,
around. Hit my
for things and
line.
stuff. Either way, whenever you get back into New York, hopefully let's all get together with like some musician friends. It would be really cool to actually have like a little meet and hang
Little
out outside
community.
of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, come on. That was such a fun night. I want to
It
just like
was
keep
it
that going.
was I want to chase that high for sure.
Yeah, let's keep doing that. I think that was such a great show. We didn't even talk about you know, the other people, but
Yeah, Noah and Lizzie were also great. I mean, like all very different, but there's a through line, which is we listened to a lot of Lady Gaga growing up.
that was the through line, I guess. I was looking for it, but I guess it was just Lady Gaga.
Yeah,
I
it
feel like
was.
Lady
It was
Gaga is
solid.
actually the through
Yeah.
line for reality.
Yeah,
yeah.
for most New York musicians, most New York singers, it's like Gaga's definitely we worship at the shrine.
Gaga,
But also quick fun story before we end.
please.
So my parents live in Malibu, and Lady Gaga literally lives down the street. And one time my parents were at the grocery store with my dog, and this woman is like, "Your dog is so cute," and my mom looks up and is like, "Thank you." And it's literally Lady Gaga, like Mrs. Germanata in the flesh. And that's just LA, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. You know who's funny? I just saw at the beach. He was sitting right next to us. Was Kaylani.
No way. That's
And
wild.
I was sitting there. I was with my friends, and I was just staring at her. And I felt bad doing it because I'm like, is that? And I was like on her Instagram with like
You're like, yeah,
14.8 million followers. I'm like, but that's
are you?
that's
Is that?
yeah.
But
And I was
you?
like, I just couldn't help. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no, the neck tattoos are a pretty dead giveaway.
yeah, face tattoo. I was like, that's totally her. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and also my friend did serve Lady Gaga coffee one time and said she was the nicest person ever. And
Yep.
my buddy was not stoked because she came in like right before they closed. So, and then his like coworker came up and was like, that was Lady Gaga, right? Like the one you were just an asshole to. And he's like, oh.
I bet she appreciates when people are assholes to her, because she's like, well, I feel like I get the princess treatment all the time. Like, it's nice to be treated like a person.
For sure. I think on the coasts, she's probably very well respected. I feel like Middle America is probably a little torn up on Lady Gaga.
Definitely. But also like
She's a badass. Like,
yeah, I mean,
she handles her shit.
She's so mother. And also she started off cutting her teeth in New York clubs just like us,
Yeah.
Like she and Lana too, Lizzie Grant at the time, like there's old videos of them from like the aughts performing at, Boiler Room or the Bitter End, and like it's just like so cool. It's like, oh.
Well, Michael, what's the record store that you know the guy, Jamal?
Generation no, that's not Generation Records, a different one. Oh my god. This is gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Village Revival.
Village Revival. And that's
he knows everybody.
Yeah, Lana Del Rey used to go in there and all that stuff, right? And
yeah. I think he's on a first name basis with Dave Chappelle. Like he calls him
I think it was like so many people. Like he's just like
I can imagine. Yeah, I would be a very unchill like host or waiter in like a shishi restaurant, because I would not be able to like keep my shit together. But
really,
I mean, like
I don't think that's true. I think you got well.
I would be fine. I would be fine, but there's a couple people who would have me.
Like who? And we'll just say that.
Yeah, well, Gaga, obviously. I think if I met Harry Styles, I'd be so gagged. Like, I don't know, like I'm not necessarily like a huge Harry Styles fan. I just feel like I would be so like, what? Like if I met Zendaya, I would feel this way.
Yeah.
Just like untouchably.
I really like Harry Styles shit. Like the more stuff I see of his, like there was a Howard Stern show that he did, and he was doing some old like covers, and like I was like, damn, this guy is like really, really good.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Hot take, Harry Styles is really good.
Hot take. Well, it is a hot take from the musician world. Like
yeah. For people like me, it's not usually like a thing that people usually talk about, but he's incredible.
Oh, you know who I would flip the fuck out if I met
So,
Fiona Apple,
oh well, same.
because she just doesn't leave her house. So like that would be a true unicorn.
She is an example of one of the singers we're talking about at the start, where it's like they don't like being out that much.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
she's one of my biggest inspirations. It's like I'm like if Fiona Apple liked attention.
I could totally. There's your new Instagram bio.
Exactly. Exactly.
Fiona Apple liked attention. Fuck, I feel like I could talk to you for so much longer, but I actually have to go bowling, and I'm sure Michael has stuff to do. I'm sure you have stuff to do. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do some shit when you get back in town.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for doing this. This has been super fun, and like
Oh
I
my
can't
God.
see where you
Thank
go.
you.